What is going on, true believers? I hope you're having a great morning. The market had a nice little run overnight, which got eaten up as US data came out. And guess what? Inflation is now up again instead of down. And it looks like the Trump administration has not done enough to really dial this in and give us what we've been looking for and what we've needed. However, whatever's going on right now, we are watching real time. We're going to skip the intro because look at this right here. As I'm watching right now, ICP is breaking out. It was when we started talking a few minutes ago, it was at $2.15. It's at $2.18 right now. The market was kind of dead even on the day. It's now up 23,000 on the day. And it's not just, by the way, looking at this right now on the 5-minute chart doesn't do justice to what is happening right now, but we are seeing a massive amount of capital starting to flow into the market right now. And this is a Friday expiry day. It is the 20th of the month, which means that it's not the final expiry. The final one is going to be next Friday, which will be the 27th. So that's going to be one of the biggest expiry days. And March will be the end of it. And as you're watching right now, you're seeing, of course, profit take. By the way, I'm looking at this. This is not even one that's really breaking out. Look at Avalanche right here. Same thing starting to happen. Look at Solana. Same thing starting to happen. Could we be clawing back some of the money? I don't know. This could be a fake out where they're just trying to manipulate you to get you back into the market, to get you to throw your money at something before it comes back down. But again, just a nice little breakout happening right now. Now, the reason that I'm watching this and the reason that it's important is because I just bought some more ICP. And you know what? Now I guess we can do the intro because I just showed you what's going on in the market. And now we're going to talk about what's going on with PCE. We're going to talk about what's going on with President Trump and how this is the craziest thing that you've ever seen. There's no shame here. There's no shame. And it's not the Trump administration. They're not the ones that are doing it. It's the comfort that the wealthy have right now to just dismiss you. Like it's you'll see. It's not financial advice. I'm always right.
It's your boy Bleed. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
Okay, so let's start back at square one. This market makes no sense. Nothing that you expect to happen is happening. You're being tricked, you're being deceived, you're being manipulated by the market makers every step of the way. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's very simple. Make sure, by the way, if you haven't already, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you hit that like button. You might notice a little change in some of the back stuff. We are Chicago Bears here all day, every day. Chicago Bears moving to Hammond, Indiana. What a crazy time to be alive right now. Is it great to be alive on a Friday morning in Chicago, Illinois? That's a little CM Punk action if you haven't. I'm a wrestling fan. All right, so breaking. U.S. PCE inflation rises to 2.9 year over year as Bitcoin falls. And this is coming from Babatunde, the writer for CoinGate. And he says, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, PCE, which is the Fed's favorite inflation gauge, rose to 2.9. Overall core PCE came in at 3, which means that there will be no rate cut. There will be no rate cut. The data is coming in hotter and hotter and hotter, or as Donald Trump says, prices are coming down. A lot of people are saying it's the lowest prices that we've ever seen. This is a lot of people are saying it. A lot of people love what I'm doing. I'm doing it. I'm doing it for you. Whatever. So anyway, moving on from that, this right here, this just happened. This is absolute insanity. And by the way, when I tell you this is absolute insanity, I'm not going to play it for you because if you're going to get furious if you hear it. But here's what it is. Donald Trump is talking about how he's helping U.S. steel. Okay, the way that he's helping U.S. steel is by creating tariffs for imports of foreign steel. Which, by the way, that's good. That's good. Okay, that's not bad. This goblin over here, this bald-headed POS, that is the president of a steel factory in Rome, Georgia, who then, during the course of this conversation, thanks Donald Trump because the tariffs didn't allow him to be competitive. Because the tariffs allowed him to raise the prices of steel in the United States. Think about that for just a second. Instead of becoming competitive, instead of becoming less expensive so that American manufacturers have some relief that they can pass on to the consumers, he's excited because he can raise the price of steel and make more money off of it. That is what we're dealing with. That is the state of the world. And Donald Trump, to his credit, like when you watch it, you see Donald Trump do this, the moving kind of stuff here, where he just kind of, like what I do, just kind of dances around while they're talking. And he's basically saying to the world here that like he doesn't agree with that at all. Like he hears it, he likes it. But also, remember, Donald Trump is not oblivious to the grift, if you will. And that grift is these American companies charging you, the consumer, more money to continue to build. And these guys are profiting off of it because it's all about their bottom line. It's not about you. It's not about the consumer. It's not about making a level playing field. That's not what it's about. It's about how they can gouge you for more money. It's seamless. It's seedy. It's shady. It's disgusting. In my opinion, it is just so bad. Also, by the way, I am working on and tried to, I tried to just now set up a stream to go live on X, and it doesn't appear that it worked. We're going to check that out real quick. I'm trying it right now, trying to get this thing to work, but it just, for whatever reason, yeah, it's not working. So also, if you are interested, I put together a full breakdown of exactly how Terra Luna Classic, how it broke apart and how it just flamed out and fractured and was gone. Also, should be noted for anybody who is paying attention, Strathcole, who is one of the largest developers and creators on Terra Luna Classic, is leaving. He's got some health issues. He's had some issues. When Jay, formerly Happy Caddy Crypto, returned from his recovery phase, which he went to him for surgery and stuff like that, and he said, you need some perspective, you need to zoom out. So he has decided that he is leaving Terra Luna Classic. And he's pointed out the lack of liquidity here, the lack of liquidity here, the lack of liquidity here for all of this stuff. And the fragmentation and how it's really killing. So what he says here, I will fulfill my commitments, which are the development of Market Maker 2.0 and the collateral market maker at the L1 level, as well as support for the deployment of SDK 0.53. TerraClassic.io will, of course, remain in place and function as before, including GitHub management of the site. The Galactic Shift TCG will also go live when it is possible, but the validator will sunset at March 31st. All of this is not meant as a rant, but rather food for thought. My perspective after my first real break in 4 years, I would have made a similar statement if I had been able to continue. Not everything is negative. There are some bright spots, people who continue to fight to keep this chain alive. I think L1 is in good hands with Orbit Labs, and who knows, maybe everyone involved will eventually be mature and reasonable enough to work together in a way that creates more than just a fragile snapshot that will be torn apart by the next ego. And speaking of the next ego, don't forget, I've been complaining about this for a long period of time. And I was alone in that regard. I was the only one out here telling you problems that exist. And now, one of the biggest developers has said the same thing. So, it's going to be real interesting to see what happens over the next little while. So if you are a developer on Lunk, congratulations. You got what you wanted. Strathcole's gone. Now, also, why are crypto prices rising on Clarity Act progress? Well, let's go back here before we get too deep into this. We just had a run up here for ICP to $2.20 before it, again, corrected back to the downside. We've had $12 billion in inflow, but that inflow actually ran up to 2.31 trillion. So there was 33, 34, 35 billion in the market just a few moments ago before the enormous amount of grift and profit taking started from the U.S. market. The Dow Jones, by the way, which was down significantly just a few moments ago, look at this, shot up like a rocket as well. And as soon as it did, you can see right there, it broke down, went from 49,700 to, in moments, this is a 5-minute chart, by the way, in moments, collapsed back down. So you're seeing the grift play out real time right now. And by the way, when I say grift, I don't mean that everybody out here is grifting you. I don't mean that they're all just trying to steal from you. They are, but a lot of this is just normal profit taking along the way. So let's take a moment now and get into chat and see what's going on. Gnome saying good morning. Roy G, good morning. Penguin, good morning. Latama, good morning. Has the bull market finally started? No. Until we have the Clarity Act, that's not going to happen. We've got to have a Clarity Act before we're going to get any kind of break. Now, look, there should be some relief, but we should also, let me use ICP as my example for that. There should be some relief, but when we come out to the hour chart, I want you to look at that. See that right there? Every time we think that there is a nice pump getting ready to happen, every time we see that, look at how little this actually is. This is an hourly chart. On February 14, Valentine's Day, all right? Let's just go back here and get an idea. On Valentine's Day, ICP was trading at $2.60. Today, we just got excited because it spiked up to $2.20 and touched the 50-day MA. Like that's all it took for me to be like, oh wow, something is happening right now. That was it. So, and by the way, ICP is back down to $2.15, right where it started a few moments ago. So this was all just another. They wanted to fake you out. They wanted to pump just a little bit. You started to see the movement in the market, and then boom, it collapsed out from under you. These goblins, they're shady, they're seedy, they're disgusting individuals, okay? But that's the market that we're in. That's the market that we live in. And zooming out a little bit further, let's go back here. Every time we see a relief rally, it's greeted by a lower low. And the easier way to look at that, I guess, would be on the day. So after the collapse of Wintermute, we had this upward mobility and this sideways motion before another collapse, then another retest, then another collapse, then another retest, then a collapse that did not go back down as far. Then we had another retest, then we had another small retest, and then we had another dump, massive, coming back down, and now we're having that retest right here. So the question would be, does this happen and we continue just up a little bit each time? Or are we looking at a move back to the downside where we get into lower lows? So the most likely scenario of this play out is going to be lower lows. We are now in a bear trend, and when we got this right here, we look at it and we say, well, that's bearish, but we got this big upward mobility. Now we came down, and our momentum is now in decline. So over the longer time frames, the more you see it, the more you realize we are in we're in a difficult spot right now. By the way, we are now negative on the day, or at least we're 1 billion. All of that money that just came into the market was just to trick you into buying. That's all it was. Unbelievable. They have no shame. They have no shame. They have no dignity. They have no shame. So crazy, crazy, crazy things that we see if we just pay attention to the markets. So anyway, why are the prices rising? Well, again, I'm not sure that they're actually rising, if you will. But the improving market sentiment can be linked to expectations tied to U.S. regulatory developments, especially the Clarity Act. The proposed law aims to explain online property regulation in the U.S. Now, this is what's going on, and this is where it's going to get really, really interesting. So the White House met with the crypto bros and not the banks, okay? Did not meet with the banks. The banks did not show up for the meeting. The banks actually sent their own people, I'll show you right here. Per sources in the room, today's stablecoin meeting was smaller than last week and included reps from Coinbase, Ripple, A16Z, plus trade groups, Blockchain Association, and Crypto Council. No individual bank reps attended. Bank voices were represented via Trade Association, the ABA Bankers, Bank Policy, and the ICBA. So the public statements from attendees are once again being described as productive and constructive, but what does that actually mean? Sources say there was a notable difference today. The White House took the lead in driving the discussion rather than letting crypto firms and bank trades steer the discussion as in prior meetings. White House Counsel Executive Director Patrick J. Witt brought draft text that served as the central focus of the conversation. The language acknowledged concerns banks raised in last week's Yield and Interest Prohibition Principles, or YIP, which makes clear that any future restrictions on rewards would be narrow in scope. So what the White House did is said, look, you're not going to control the way that yield is produced. There is going to be yield on stablecoins. Okay, so that's off the table. Earning yield on idle balances, a key crypto industry goal, is effectively off the table. So what the crypto bros are going to have to get used to is, remember before, like I told you, all you have to do is put your money in Coinbase, and Coinbase will provide you with yield every single day just for letting your money sit like a savings account. They're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to actively stake your crypto in order to make that happen. You're going to be an active participant in the market and not a passive participant in the market. One crypto side attendee told me that bank concerns appear to stem more from the competitiveness pressures than from the deposit flight. Now remember, what the bank said is they're concerned that the money is going to come out of the traditional banks and go into crypto, into digital assets. A bank side source told me that they're still pushing to include a deposit outflow study in the draft, one that would examine the growth of payment stablecoins and their potential impact on bank deposits. But they don't have any data, because data that negatively affects them like that doesn't really exist at this point. The same source said they were encouraged by proposed anti-evasion language that would give the SEC, Treasury, and CFTC authority to enforce a ban on paying yield on idle balances, with civil monetary penalties of $500,000 per violation per day. So what's next? Bank trade groups will brief their members on today's discussion and gauge whether there's room for compromise on allowing crypto firms to offer stablecoin rewards. One source said an end-of-month deadline doesn't seem unrealistic, with talks set to continue in the coming days. So we have at least a little bit of clarity on our Clarity Act. And that is that there's going to have to be stablecoin yield. It's a non-starter, and it's not going to, the banks are not going to be able to stop this. But what they would be able to do is change the way that it's done and perhaps cap it at maybe 2% or something like that. Again, Coinbase would make their money, but here's the thing. Free market should decide this. I mean, that's what the banks are trying to do, is prevent the free market from making the decisions. They're trying to prevent capitalism from deciding how this is going to happen, because the crypto bros, the Coinbases, the Ripples, they want to give you 3.5% to 4% on your money. The banks, they don't want to give you your money back. That's really what's going on. They want you to put your money in, then they want to be able to use your money in order to lend it to more people so that they can create new customers and they can reap new profit without paying you for your money. That's really what this comes down to, and they are comfortable with that right now. I go back to a time, by the way, not long ago, there was a movie with Richard Pryor. It was called Brewster's Millions, where he got $30 million and he had to spend it within 30 days. And at the end of it, one of the catch-alls for the thing was that he was also accruing interest. But the interest rate at the time, here, interest rate on savings at banks average by year. There we go. Historical average savings rate. No, that's... Oh, Jesus Christ. History of saving account interest rates. Here we go. 3 months. Let's do... God damn it. Let's do 80s to now and see what that looks like. Historical CD interest rates over here. Look at that. This is the decline. They were giving you, you were getting, a CD was giving you an APY in the 80s of 12%. Today, it's giving you under 8%. Oh, this is 1989. Never mind. This is under 8% now. So you look at this from a longer all-time. There we go. Now you get it. Now you're going to get it. 80s, 12% they were giving you on CD yields. Into the 90s, it was in the 9 to 8%. And it continued to go down and go down and go down and go down. Today, there it is, 1.88%. 10% of the money that you used to earn in interest from banks is gone. Again, you were earning a 12% yield on a 1 year and a 5 year CD. Now you're earning 1.8%. They're keeping your money, and they are so greedy that they want to keep doing it by preventing you from making your money in crypto. By the way, I already did the math on this. This is right at $6 billion. So still looking for some real capital inflows coming back into the market, which currently just not seeing. So, but back to the Clarity Act. The White House has established a deadline, which is important, by March 1 of 2026. So we're talking about 8 days. They have 8 days to make this happen. The bill, which was passed by the House of Representatives in July of 2025, has been lagging. The question is whether or not issuers of stablecoin can provide interest or bonuses to their holders. Advocates of crypto claim that these incentives ought to be permissible, with banking industry representatives being on the contrary. The result of these discussions may be the future of stablecoin and regulation of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin has found support at 65.7. We'll see what happens with that. Further, BlackRock signals 270 million in sell-off. Ethereum sells off as 2.4 billion in crypto options expire, and they're expiring today. Not really too much to worry about right there. Most of that's already happened. So if you're looking at the market right now, by the time we get to, we're at 9:23, so it's 10:30 basically in the East Coast. That means that most of the expiries have already been decided and done. There's only a couple hours left of any expiry to create an issue, a concern, a problem. So the market is already priced in for whatever's going on. But Dow Jones now up, crypto starting to pump one more time. ICP, what ended up? Now I'm curious to see what happened over here. Yeah, so Jesus Christ, these goblins, they're fucking goblins. I swear to God, it all came all the way back down to $2.13 before now spiking back up again. Does that mean that a move is on the horizon? Well, it's starting to look like there's some positive capital flowing in. But, you know, there's some moments where you just look at it and you see that and you think that, you know, maybe it's happening, and then it just doesn't stick that way. So, Lupin69 with a $10 bomb. Anything from the Supreme Court on the tariffs you already talked about? Just got on here. Yeah, so if we get a ruling from the Supreme Court, it's probably not going to be until later. Oh, here we go. It just happened. Supreme Court strikes down the bulk of tariffs. It just happened. The Supreme Court cast aside the bulk of Trump's sweeping tariffs Friday, obliterating a canon of his economic strategy in a ruling that his use of an emergency statute to remake global trade was unlawful. So guess what? Guess what? This means that. And by the way, this is going to suck just a little bit for some of the government, some of the people, because The decision invalidates what the Trump administration called the president's most significant economic and foreign policy initiative, a result Trump has warned could foist financial ruin upon the United States. The justices rejected Trump's expanded use of the IEEPA to impose tariffs on nearly every country. The 1970s-era law allows the president to regulate imports when necessary to respond to national emergencies that pose unusual or extraordinary threats. We claim no special competence in matters of economic or foreign affairs. We claim only, as we must, the limited role assigned to us by Article 3 of the Constitution. Fulfilling that role, we hold that the IEEPA does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. Trump is the first president to attempt to invoke these. Now, the decision does not provide guidance for how refunds will work, a battle that lays ahead in the lower courts. Despite Trump's string of victories before the high court, the justices expressed deep skepticism about his ability to justify his economic agenda with the string of emergencies he cited. Starting in February, he declared an emergency over fentanyl to impose tariffs on Canada, China, and Mexico. And more recently, he cited a trade deficit emergency in imposing his so-called reciprocal tariffs on dozens of trading partners across the globe, which means that as of right now, there are no tariffs on anybody anywhere, which means that prices could come down or they could, I mean, it's going to get real complicated here. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, butt chug Brett, woo, I'll have a beer for that guy, wrote in a dissenting opinion, joined by Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, you know the grifters, that despite the vigorous policy debates spurred by the tariffs, those debates are not for the courts to resolve. The sole legal question here is whether under the IEEPA, tariffs are a means to regulate importation. Statutory history and precedent demonstrate that the answer is clearly yes. Like quotas and embargoes, tariffs are a traditional and common tool to regulate importation. He said that the context and common sense underpin that interpretation of the emergency powers law. However, Trump's bid to impose tariffs may not be entirely foiled. In essence, the court today concludes that the president checked the wrong statutory box in relying on, here we go, this is where it's getting good, on IEEPA rather than another statute to impose these tariffs. So, what we got is we got clarity for the from the Supreme Court on the tariffs. Trump just can't make up emergencies. We have an emergency. We have an emergency. People are trying to import Melania. I've already got one. I don't need another. Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? So, wait a minute. Is that one hot? Yeah, bring her in. You know what I mean? So he cannot just do it and randomly create a crisis in order to justify attacking other countries. He's going to have to go through Congress to get it done. Congress is controlled by Republicans. It should be easy and pedantic and just, it should be so simple to impose these tariffs. Now all Trump's got to do is go back and say, look, we want to impose these tariffs. Congress, get your shit together and let's start making it happen. And according to this right here, he just checked the wrong boxes. So let's check the right boxes and let's get those tariffs back into place over the next little while and we'll see what happens. So BlackRock sold off. Crypto banter bubbles, by the way, brought those back for the day. We're on the 1-day chart right here. If we go to the 1-week chart, look at that. It does seem that we're having a little bit of a move. So if you bought a week ago, it's not bad. Not a lot. You can see here, Tau's up 13%, ICP's down 7%, Zcash up 10%, Kite 25%. How does Kite get into the top 100? Like, where did that even come from? Stable is at 26%. Morpho, are we in the top 100? Yeah, we're in the top 100. So, Jesus Christ. Let's see what's over here. VVV up 103%, Siren up 77%, HNT up 60%, MYX. Let's go down here and let's see, can we find Dev? Is Dev even up again? Because Dev was having a nice little run until the last couple of hours, I want to say. Like it was, we were finally starting to get some real movement out of Dev. It had gone up to like 12 cents. This is the 5-minute chart. If we go to the 1-day chart, you can see here, a couple days ago, we had ripped all the way up to 12.5 cents before getting bought back down. By the way, I do want to point out that I've been following and tracking all the stuff that's been going on over there. And since the cease and desist order, no sells have happened and no movement has been happened from the Forever Association. Tom is committed to litigating with these companies and Ray Quintana. So you can actually follow where the minting happened, by the way. So for those of you that don't know, Dev, after Tom fired Ray Quintana, 30 million Dev tokens were minted and 5 million were sent to a single wallet that then sent 2.5 million into Gate.io. And then after sending it to Gate.io, it was then sent to, you know what, as a matter of fact, let me just show you. Let's actually have this. Where is... There we go. Yeah, all right, so we got it right there. So you can see it right here. There was a mint 18 days ago where they minted 30 million tokens right there. There's the transaction. Then after minting 30 million, you see right here, there was a transfer of 50,000, 5 million, and 700,000. So who got 50,000? Who got 700,000? And who got this? So you look right here, 50,000, current price is 3,000. 700,000, current price is 42,000, and 5,302,000. Now let's look at the transaction here and see where that went. It was sent to this wallet right here. And then this wallet, what did this wallet do? This wallet was just opened for this purpose, and then immediately 2.5 million were sent to Gate.io, which they've communicated with Gate.io to stop the transactions. And then Gate, I think, by the way, held up whatever was going on. And then you had 1 million sent to one wallet, and then you had another 1.5 million sent to another wallet. So now you've got all of this stuff going. And by the way, you can come over here, click on this one, and you can see, like, what does this look like in the holding wallet? You see right there, they've got $60,000 in Dev. They got 1 million Dev tokens, $60,000 sitting in their wallet right now. And you've got another million sitting over here. And when you look at that one, see the same thing right there. Now, they've accepted it, but they have not moved it around. You look at the token transfers and stuff like that. 15 days ago, you saw that happen. And then 2 days ago, you saw them sell 600,000 or 36,000. So we'll see what happens with this going forward. It's going to be very, very interesting. As a matter of fact, at this point, now we got to do something here. Sorry, kind of investigating all this stuff as we go. So I'm sending that over to Tom right now so that he can see exactly what was happening with that. I think he's on top of it. I think he's tracking it, trying to make something happen here, trying to figure out what's going on. But until we actually get some clarity, we don't have any clarity. So by the way, ICP, look at this. These people are so shady. Jesus Christ. Look at that. Right back down to the 50 MA and below. So shady, so shady. However, you could say that this is a quick impulse move right here. You look at it from this, then guess what? It's already in the range right now for a move back up to 218 over the next little while. If in fact that is the case, if we're going to have some positive movement in the market, I don't know that we are. We're still at 934. It's still early in the day, so we'll see what happens. But so far, we've got outflows on the ETF. 165 million on the Ethereum ETF. I think we had outflow on that one yesterday too. Yeah, we had 130 million in outflow on that ETF. We had capital inflows of 6 million on the Solana ETF, and for the yesterday's 4 million in inflows on XRP. So fear and greed index still sitting at 8, extreme fear. Liquidity, we can move out here as far as we want to go. The money is to the upside. It's not to the downside right now. I mean, there it is right there. You can kind of see how this plays out. Matter of fact, if we go to 1 year, and we just kind of look at this on a 1 year chart, let's get the symbol here. We're just going to go for all of Bitcoin right now. 2 year. Let's do 2 year. Oh, shit. 1 year. All right. So, are you really just unable to? Yeah. So, I mean, there's millions down here, but the big money is sitting way up there. So, we'll see what that looks like going over it. And then here's our liquidation levels, by the way. There you go. These are the longs and the shorts of it all. This is actually, I think this is actually a better chart for us. You know what I mean? Like, let's, you know what? Let's save this one. Let's start using this one for a few days. See if we like this one a little bit better. Let's get rid of that liquidation heat map. We can bring that one back if we want to. But there, I mean, you can see right now, that's where the money is. This is where the attacks are. They're going to, as you start getting these hot little pools right there, as it starts to turn yellow and get more and more and more, then that's where you're going to see the attacks starting to happen. This is on the 1 minute time, by the way. Move that out to a 15-minute time. See what it looks like. Yeah, so we can see right now. Again, we're a little sweep down here to 64,000. Probably leads to a reversal and gets us kicked back up into the 69 to 70,000 range, maybe even if we're lucky up into 71, 72,000 range. So that's what I would suggest is probably on tap right now. So in this quick move, by the way, we see that we got that surge, we got that move. If we take this off and we say that there was an impulse move in that shorter little time frame right there, I don't think that really plays out very well. So we'll use this as our kind of litmus test here. If this holds, by the way, then you could be looking at a move to, we're looking at a trend line. We want to establish like a trend line right there from the top to the top. And we had this move right here. So if, in fact, we are positive and the market starts to pump, ICP could break up here to 220. We could see that maybe even 221 over the next little while. Again, we're looking at whether or not we're going to get capital inflows or not in the market. So I don't know how that's going to play out. But the AI race is on. It's a sprint. Do you still have that company managing you? I do, as a matter of fact. Armin Clark says, whoop, whoop, juggalos. All right, man. I wouldn't consider myself a juggalo. But I did stay at a Best Western once. Oh, am I supposed to say Holiday Inn Express? God damn. Anyway. Penguin says, can they sell those tokens legally? According to... I don't know the answer to that. That's what I'm going to say to that. I don't know the answer to that. The tokens, the purpose of it is for that minting, and in order to mint and deploy, and so I mean there's a question I'm sure that people are really nervous about, and how I mean, like you basically don't want anybody selling tokens. I mean, you want everybody to just hold until it goes way up, and then you get to sell first, and then everybody else gets to sell after you. I mean, that's the reason that people are nervous about it, right? So I don't know. I don't know. From what I understand from Tom, they were legally done. The 30 million was minted legally. And the question, I suppose, other than that legal minting was it legal for 5 million to be sent to somebody in order for them to start to sell? Because the purpose of the Forever Association, and I don't know how contractually this is going to play out. The purpose of the Forever Association is, or was, to sell when they need to OTC holders in a way that would allow for a long-term hold, where you would have a vesting contract where you couldn't sell for 1 year or something like that, to give them a chance and some runway so that you're not messing with the liquidity pool, stuff like that. But that doesn't appear to be what this case is. So we'll see whether or not I don't know. I really don't know. I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. So anyway, as soon as I have information, I will let you guys know. So, oh, and also, like, I'm going to ask for you guys to help me today. I'm going to show you something over here, and I'm going to put the link, I think, into the chat. Because this is where, like, man, I need you guys. This is where you guys, if you support me, like, oh, for the love of God, I need your help on this one, because I get paid from Tau and BitTensor for these videos, and the one that helps me the most right now, which by the way is hilarious, is this one right here. I did the almanac, and I put Marty McFly and Doc Brown on the front of it. Prediction market loophole nobody's talking about. We're going to change the name of it right there. And I'm going to drop it in here. So if you guys have the time, if one of you guys could help me out. By the way, did you like the whatchamacallit today? We're going to change the name of it right there. That video, I'm going to drop it in here. So if you guys have the time, if one of you guys could help me out. By the way, did you like the whatchamacallit today? We're going to change the name. Anyway, if you guys are not doing anything, please engage with that content, because again, I get paid in BitTensor for those, and it helps me out tremendously if you guys engage with that content. And if you like it, then there's a prediction market for you where you can win twice instead of just winning once. You don't just do yes or no. If you start putting up things that are really cool, really good, then guess what? The end result of all of that is we get a nice opportunity to win multiple times. So anyway, that's the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. We're going to get out of here for the day. We will start seeing you. I've got content coming out all weekend long. So we'll talk to you soon. It's not funny.